Dear students, welcome to the course Introduction to Metaphysics of Sanskrit Language. This is lecture 13. In continuation of the previous lecture, that is yesterday's one, we have already gone through these total 9 topics, that is subjective and objective, and then encapsulation. Because we have to deal this encapsulation in detail, and to understand this point we need to have some more information about the manifestation of the sounds first. So, we are going to begin in detail understanding about the sound energies. For that purpose, we are going to deal with the concept of transposition today. As we have gone through this manifestation process, Varṇa, Mantra, Pada and Tattva, Kalā, Bhuvan, now we have to understand the transposition phenomena. I left the last topic here only. You need to know this word, that is Shad Adhvā. Shad means 6, okay, and Adhvā means paths. Adhvā are the possible paths or the ways. So, here Shad Adhvā means 6 ways, 6 possible ways. And how this is 6? On one side, subjective consciousness is being created, on the other side objective consciousness is getting appeared on the surface of the canvas of the chitti, right. So, in subjective side we have 3, Varṇa, Mantra, Pada. In objective side we have 3, Tattva, Kalā, Bhuvan. So, in total they are becoming 6. So, these are the possible 6 ways through which intelligible energy rushes out, or you can say the manifestation appears on the surface. That is why the title, the word denotes Shad Adhvā, that means there are possible 6 ways of manifestation through which intelligible energy comes or gets, or the whole of the cosmos or along with the sound energies gets manifested. This is what is meant here. After that, I explained that this table is very important for the next possible concept which we are going to understand, and here you need note one point. Ka is representing Prithvi Tattva and Ksha is representing Shakti Tattva. Yesterday I told you concept available in Pratabhigya Shastra. Today I am going to teach you the concept about which is available in Pramātṛgata. You remember these 2 words. Pramātṛgata is a text which is actually an extract of the Agamas, Pramātṛgata, on which commentary is being written by Abhinav Gupta. Acharya Abhinav Gupta is a popular scholar or Acharya of Kashmir Śaivism. He is very renowned person because he had taught a lot of the students, more than thousands of the students, and he was himself a personality who got the Siksha, actually not the Siksha only, the Diksha and the Shastra both, in the form of Siddhant also and in the form of Sadhana also from 14 gurus. 14 गुरुओं से उन्होंने खुद शिक्षा पाई थी और हजारों से ज़्यादा छात्रों को खुद पढ़ाया था, वो सारा ज्ञान शास्त्र का उन्होंने खुद बताया था. And when at the time of his own liberation, or you can say not a liberation, when he took he entered into a cave which is still available in Kashmir, in the valley of Kashmir. In that cave itself, he was followed by more than 1200 disciples, and it's available in the common people, among the common mass, that after that he was not seen again in the valley. So, Abhinav Gupta, the cadre of Abhinav Gupta is very grand. Whenever you get a time to read more about Abhinav Gupta, you can just Google it on your internet also, you can get a lot of information about Abhinav Gupta. So, Acharya Abhinav Gupta commented on this Pramātṛgata, and Pramātṛgata is describing, or it is belonging to the Shakti Sampradaya, Shakti cult. Shakti cult means where the Shakti is worshipped. Or you can say where in the process of sadhana, Shakti is the dominating principle. So, Shakti is being worshipped. So, Pramātṛgata is belonging to the corpus of Agamas, and in that text, what is the concept? The last 4 sounds which are listed here, the dental sa, first is Talavya, then Murdhanya, then dental. So, in this way these 3 sounds plus Hakar and plus Ksha, these are the 5 sounds which are related with one by one. First is Mahamaya or Maya, Shuddha Vidya, same, Ishwar and Sadashiv, and then Shakti. So, you need not to remember all of them, you just stuck to the last one. Shakti is getting represented as or you can say the representation of the phonemic energy Chakara is with the Shakti and Ka is with the Prithvi. This is the available understanding in this table, right. So, for understanding transposition, we need to have first a look what transposition exactly is. Transposition का phenomena क्या है? When you look in yourself into a mirror, आप अपने आप को शीशे में देख रहे हैं. So, what happens? What exactly happens? When you are in this way, like the mountain is available in the a kind of reflection, there is a river which is very static, completely static, there is no flow, no movement in the river. Okay. So, it's very static, it's clean and transparent, so it is serving a purpose of a mirror. Okay. So, एक बिल्कुल साफ स्वच्छ पारदर्शी दर्पण है. A very clean transparent mirror is there. Okay, the surface of water. Now, what is happening? The mountain is being reflected, it's getting reflected in that river. The mountain is getting reflected, and what is happening in this reflection? What is happening? The bottom part is at the top and the top part is at the bottom. Fine. And in the mirror also what happens? When you see yourself, your left becomes the right and your right becomes the left in the image and the real object. So, this is understood as transposition. When the top is at the bottom, it is getting reflected at the bottom and the bottom is at the top. This is understood as transposition. And what is happening? At the first instance, because I have already explained to you the concept of 4 stages of the Vak, Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. So, the Para stage is undifferentiated, non-dual, there is no duality. When Para starts appearing as Pashyanti, what happens? Now, you see that form which is always the same both in its original condition and reflection, that is not called a reflection. First of all, we need to understand what reflection is. In that a kind of reflection is little bit different in a sense when nature is of the original face, but there is little bit difference. What is that difference? That means there is lateral inversion, and lateral inversion is understood as transposition. So, which though being the same appears in another way, as for instance the image of a face in a reverse order, the front as the rear and the left as the right, that alone is called reflection. First of all, we need to understand the concept what reflection is. So, technically both are same, but still there is little bit difference in a reflection and in a real object. When Pashyanti Vak, that means Pashyanti Vak starts manifesting, the sounds are emerging from Shakti, phonemic energies are coming, which has corresponding syllabic manifestation as Chakar, proceeding to the Hakar, Sakar, then Shakar, then Shakar. This further proceeds to the reverse order of syllables in each group of Varnamala. So, technically Para, the non-dual state, which is a kind of where signifiers and signified is superposed, that is full of 36 elements starting from Shiva going to the Prithvi Tattva. Shiva, Shakti, Sadashiva, Ishwar, Shuddha Vidya, then Maya, Kalā, Vidya, Raganiyati and Kal, then Purusha, Prakriti, Ahankar, Manas, Buddhi, Panch Tanmatra, Panch Gyanendriya, Panch Karmendriya and Panch Bhuta. So, total 36 tattvas, they are available in para state in a non-dual condition without any differentiation, without any separation. And then what is happening? They are in the process of creation in her womb. So, at the para stage everything is available as a non-dual entity. when it gets reflected on the mirror, what is the mirror? The mirror is becoming Pashyanti, because Pashyanti is going to come. So, the image of Para on the mirror of Pashyanti, so you consider this complete image, like Para is this mountain full of everything, Pashyanti is this river, and what is happening when this Para full of 36 possible tattvas gets reflected on Pashyanti, transposition happens. So, reversal of the tattvas is happening. You can see the reversal process. So, what happens when this image of Para on the mirror of Pashyanti manifests Madhyama, thought structure, our thoughts, linking the elements with the sounds in reverse order. Thus, thoughts relate first with the grossest element of Prithvi, as the sound of Shakar, which is in real sense is the sound of Shakti. When reversal happens, Shakti was associated with Shakar, and when reversal happens, transposition happens, what happens? Prithvi gets related with the Shakti or energy or Shakti principle or Shakti Tattva. The sound which is known as Shakara gets linked with the Prithvi element or Prithvi Tattva gets linked with the sound of Shakara. Normally Shakti is linked with Shakara, but when transposition happens, Prithvi Tattva is linked with Shakara. So, what happens? The transposition changes the order. That means when we start thinking the potency, the power because of which we are able to think. If the power will not be available to us, that means Vimarsha Shakti or thoughtful understanding, thoughtful state is not available to us, we won't be able to think anything. So, the power through which we actually think, that is because of this Shakti Tattva. So, in turn we become gross. When we have Madhyama, we are becoming gross, and when we speak it, then it becomes Vaikhari, expressed. So, basically what is happening right now, for example, to understand this thing very simply, in a very simple manner, right now I am trying to teach you. So, whatever knowledge I am possessing, that is in my thoughts. So, the power which is available to me right now to convey my thoughts to you in order or in the form of a Vaikhari Vadi, that power is a Shakti Tattva, right? And Shakti Tattva gets linked with the grossest possible element, grossest possible sound, and it gets reflected in Prithvi Tattva, because Prithvi is the grossest one. So, when we go through the 36 tattvas, the subtlest one is Kshakar and the grossest one is Ka, and Sha is representing Shakti, Ka is representing Prithvi. This is what ideally present. But what happens when we come into existence? Reversal happens because of transposition. So, what happens here? The potency of or the power of expression gets linked with another sound. That means the linking of the tattvas with the phonemic energies is reversed. So, this transposition in turn provides us how Prithvi Tattva is the grossest one. We all are existing like in this structure of manifestation with a gross body, Panchabhut, so many gross things which are able to which we are able to perceive, which are available for the cognition, because they are dominated by the Prithvi Tattva. So, in turn Prithvi Tattva is occupying the potency which is available in Shakti. So, Prithvi is becoming potential enough or powerful enough to be expressed or to be notified just because it is having the potency of Shakti Tattva. So, in reversal all the phonemic energies are providing their energies in reverse order, that means from gross to subtle. So, we never try to understand or to start our examination or investigation from the subtlest possible one. That is why yesterday I told you, in sciences what we are doing, we are making an approach from bottom to top, from grossest to the subtlest. We are in that habit कि पहले gross को समझते हैं. What is multiplicity? We will understand that. Doesn't matter to which topic we are investigating, whether it is in the field of physics, chemistry, biology, or it is in the field of languages, so many languages, the variations. We are stuck to the gross aspects. Gross aspects, multiplicity, differentiation, and then we proceed towards the subtlest one. That means we are following the bottom to top approach right now. But our understanding corpus, Indian understanding, Indian corpus presents the understanding from top to bottom. So, the clarity of understanding or knowledge is because of that approach. They first try to investigate the topmost state, that is subtlest possible aspect. As they already investigated about the subtlest one, so it is very easy to comprehend the things which are coming out from the subtlest one in the form of grossest ones. So, the grossest element, that is Prithvi, grossest tattva jo Prithvi tattva hai, that tattva is having a power to be executed or to execute something or to create something just because it is having a potency which is available in the phonemic energy of Kshakara, that means Shakti. That is why this table can be cut into pieces, again can be joined in so many forms. You can take the clay, raw clay, and when the potter puts that raw clay on the wheel, that he can create any kind of shape. कोई भी पट, कोई भी घट, कुछ भी तैयार कर सकते हैं हम, किसी भी रॉ मटेरियल से कोई भी स्ट्रक्चर तैयार हो सकता है. एंड दैट स्ट्रक्चर इज अ ग्रॉस स्ट्रक्चर डोमिनेटेड ऑफ द पृथ्वी तत्व. बट दैट पोटेंसी बिकॉज ऑफ विच एनी काइंड ऑफ मैनिफेस्टेड एंटाइटी कैन बी क्रिएटेड इज बिकॉज ऑफ क्षकार, पोटेंसी, फोनेमिक एनर्जी present in ksha phoneme. In the same way, the reversal and in the process of reversal, the ka one is having just opposite. So, ka is that syllable which is available to us in Varnamala to recite, like we start learning Varnamala from ka, kha, ga, gha, just because of this process of transposition, reversal, a kind of inversion, not the reversal, inversion, and very clearly lateral inversion, or you can say very easily reflection always has this kind of inversion. Wherever reflection will happen, it will be like that only. So, in a kind of in virtual reality, when you create an application, you play so many games and you are yourself representing yourself in that. So, there is nothing but a virtual reality and the original doer is you. So, the original doer, whatever that person is possessing, that gets reflected in reflection in a reverse order. So, this is happening in the transposition, and because of this, what happens, we have one very important concept related with this transposition phenomena, which is available here in the potencies. When the sounds are coming or appearing on the canvas of the Shakti, at the first instance, what about the swaras? One by one we will take, because I told you transposition, and in that table, ka to sha, that means all the consonants. अभी तक हमने क्या बात की, व्यंजनों की बात की, all the व्यंजनास, how they are linked. But what about the swaras? वो कहाँ चले गए? I told you that Shiva Tattva is representing all the swaras. So, one by one we will take all the process of manifestation, that means with the relation of phonemic energy, we are going to understand Tattva. So, here in this diagram, you can see first sound, that is akara, this sound, first sound, base sound, and this is linked with Anuttar or Shiva. Anuttar is the entity which is understood or equated with the Shiva, because I told you for Param Shiv we are having so many words. Anuttar, Chit, Para, Samvit, Purna, so many words. So here Akara is representing Anuttar. Why? Because after that there is no question left. आपके पास कोई प्रश्न ना रह जाए ऐसी स्थिति जिसके बाद आप कोई प्रश्न रखते ही ना हो. That means you have got all the possible answers. That is Anuttar. Beyond of something there is nothing to be addressed. So Anuttar. Second stage from Anand, that is long syllable Akara. What is Anand? Anand means bliss, an unending happiness. A level where you won't be subjugated or compromised for the happiness. कि आज के लिए इतना ही काफ़ी है, ऐसा नहीं. You will be having an unending happiness. Continuously you will be in a state of full of happiness. You won't be feeling sadness, or you won't be feeling a kind of depression, frustration, whatever you are right now having, a lot of pressure, nothing. Unending happiness is Anand. Third is Ichha. From Akar, third is Ichha. E is denoting the desire. Whenever you are very happy, take a very simple example. You, after giving the exams, once you gave your last examination, for the time being 1 or 2 days, you are very happy, relaxed. कुछ नहीं है अब करने को. अब मुझे 2 दिन तक कुछ मत कहना, कुछ करूँगा नहीं मैं. I am very happy, very relaxed. So at that time, at that level of happiness, you want to do something very creative. Let's cook something. कुछ लोगों की hobby होती है ना. Some people have a hobby like cooking, some people have a hobby like singing, etc., etc., dancing. So many hobbies you have, but you don't get time regularly. So after getting so much of relaxation, you are in a state of very profound happiness. Then you desire something to create. So your ichha, your will power will come in the functional, or you can say on the canvas. After that, Ishana, that is long syllable Ikara. What is Ishana? Ishana means direction. Now you need a direction. In which direction you want to create something? Your will is going to create or manifest what? In what direction? So you need a direction. So the thing which will give you a direction, like cooking is a one direction, singing is another direction, traveling is in a third direction. क्या करना चाहते हो? एक दिशा चाहिए. So once your desire starts functioning, your direction will be there. So Ishana will be representing your direction in which you are going to execute something. Then after Ikar, Unmesh. Now you are opening up. Suppose you are the completely new cook. You want to explore something in cooking. पर पहली बार बनाने जा रहे हैं. Don't know anything. So you opened a book or a recipe book, or you just search something on the internet and you just opened the video. So you opened up something from which you will get the knowledge how to execute that thing. What you have desired, how to execute that thing. So Unmesh is opening up. Now what is happening? After Unmesh, Urmi. There will be so many Urmi, that means lahar, lahare, so many ripples, that means so many, you can imagine like you are very happy, you just started cooking and now you are cooking upma for the first time and it's coming very nicely, बहुत अच्छा color आ रहा है, you are getting satisfied. So yeah, happiness, a feel of a kind of ripples which are giving you the happiness that I am successful, I have cooked it first time but successfully, very tasty, very colorful, very good, very nice, so charming. So Urmi is representing you the last sound, Ukara. So this is how the grand reality is getting manifested through the entities of the tattvas with respect of the phonemic sounds. This is one way. And after that what happens, in the same way, in the same manner, when in this figure the after these 6 sounds the process has come to end, then suddenly you realize that I may not forget some other work. I am so happy. ऐसा तो नहीं कि कुछ भूल गया हूँ, ऐसा क्या हो सकता है? मेरी लाइफ में कभी भी शांति नहीं रहती. अचानक से suddenly you get a negative thought, setback. I may have missed some assignment, I may have not submitted something. कोई चीज़ भूल तो नहीं गया हूँ, खुश तो बहुत हो रहा हूँ मैं. Suddenly you get a setback, a kind of a negative energy in any form. This is just an example. Very easily, I am trying to explain you very easily. So you stop for some time. You go back and check your all the schedules, everything is done or not. I have completed everything or not before leaving for the home. So you just cross check everything again. So that setback point, at that point what happens, these 4 sounds are getting created. These 4 sounds are rikara and rikara, short and long, short and long. So they are represented as a void. For a few minutes, for a few moments, there are voids. कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है, so they are being represented as a void. So in Bauddha darshan, we have a shunyavad. So what is void? Void is a kind of shunya, where when there is nothing, but still there is something. So that is void. After that stage, once you realize, no, everything is okay, I am not forgetting anything, everything is okay, fine, let's move ahead. So again you start creating the things. You started the process where you left or stopped, right, a few moments back, right. So you again started, then the fusion sounds come, ekar, ekar, okar and aukar. How they come? They mix, a and e mixes, then they represent ekar, ekar, and then a and u mixes, then they represent okar and okar. This is how the mixing happens. And again, so basically you have, you just after cross checking, you were relaxed, now you went and you whatever you cooked, you just served it in a tray, you mixed everything and you started eating. You understand like that. So for now, after this exemplification, I will describe what actually Paramashiv, what actually the original ultimate existence is proceeding in the process of manifestation. At the first instance, the first tattva in Kashmir Śaivism is a Śiva tattva, which is already explained, and that is representing Chit, that means a luminous intelligence. So luminous intelligence, all the activity goes on this first luminous intelligence, Śiva tattva, and then 16 vowels which are represented by this tattva, they come into the manifestation. Everything is a Śiva Śakti in turn. Śiva Śakti is not like the imaginary characters. Śiva Śakti means, I have already explained, Śiva Śakti means these are the tattvas of existence. Now here something is very interesting, specifically Śiva and Śakti. In English we are having a lot of restrictions, like in translation. I don't have any word to represent Śiva or Śakti in the, or you can say with reference of the gender specification, because in English either we have to use he or she or it, and he, she and it. In English language, the problem is it represents something which is dead, which is a non-living substance, which does not possess intelligible energy. But here in Sanskrit, Paramashiv or Shiv and Shakti, they are intelligible energies, they are luminous, they have the intelligence, they know everything about themselves also, everything that is going to be manifested also. So we cannot use it technically for them. But the problem is from he and she again. In English, we think that he represents the masculine character, she represents the feminine character. Now what is masculine and feminine in English? It is related with the identities. That means the gender of a person. Ram is a boy, then it will be denoted as he. And Sita or Rama is a girl, then that would be represented by she. So the persons are important, or you can say the gender of the persons is deciding the pronouns, right? But in Sanskrit, we never have this kind of gender identification. In Sanskrit, when in grammar, when you read, like the sutra says, Shabdanam linganushashanam, not व्यक्ति वस्तु स्थाना नाम कृते. मतलब क्या है, शब्दों का लिंग बताने जा रहा हूँ मैं, किसी व्यक्ति वस्तु या स्थान का नहीं. That means Surabhi word can be given as a name to a boy, can be given as a name to a girl, doesn't matter. But Surabhi word as a phonemic character, whatever energy this word is possessing, that is Striling. So the gender of the word is Striling, but it can be a name of a boy also, it can be a name of a girl also. It doesn't have anything related with the gender of a person or the object itself. So in Sanskrit, Shiva and Shakti are represented by a Pulling and a Striling identity, but they are not equals to the masculine and the feminine. That's why in each of us, Shiva is also there, Shakti is also there. Left side is representing Shakti Tattva, right side is representing Shiva Tattva. In each of us, doesn't matter you are a girl or you are a boy. Understood? When you understand the same concept in sciences, each one of us is having androgenic hormones, estrogenic hormones, right? Both the entities possess both types of hormonic structure, but the dominancy decides the characters which are visible. Sometimes androgenic are dominating, so the characters of the masculine personality appear. When the estrogenic are dominating, then the characters of the feminine gender appears. This is in sciences, and what Shiva Shakti concept I am teaching, that is in our Shastra. So technically, whole of the manifested entity or whole of the manifestation is Ardhanarishwara, that is Shiva Shakti both together. And that's what we have been investigating in the sciences right now. So Shastra तो बहुत पहले बता चुका है कि जगत क्या है. So in that sense, Shiva Shakti can never be related with the pronouns he, she or it, but still, because in the English language I don't have any other possible way of expression, whatever suitable method you feel, you can use it. Like here, even in language, when we speak everything, so technically Shiva and Shakti tattvas are available to us. In the form of swaras, all the energy is Shiva, and in the form of Vyanjanas, everything is Shakti, because from Hakar onwards Vyanjans appear, and Vyanjanas are those sounds which cannot be pronounced without the help of the swaras. They are not independent. So in real essence, Shiva Shakti combined together, then only we can pronounce so many Vyanjanas, and when so many Vyanjanas and swaras are combined together, they generate the words, and when so many words are combined together, then we generate sentences, then we utter it. So this is what Bhasha is. So even the language is nothing but the combination of the Shiva Shakti tattvas, and in this way, language is the expression of thoughts also. Even when we think something without even uttering it in Vaikhari, then also that there is the presence of Shiva Shakti Tattva automatically, because Swar and Vyanjan sounds will be there. Because I told you, mantra aspect is related with the contemplation. Even when we think, contemplate, and we are not uttering anything, random sounds are available in akrama stage. There is no sequence. Then also there are varnas, varna hai. So varna are the sounds itself, they are the phonemic energies. So in turn our thoughts are also the Shiva Shakti Tattva, nothing else. At the same time, when we try to express our thoughts, they act as a support system for the mind. For what purpose I made these points? Because mind in psychology, the term mind, I am not using the word mind, neither I am familiar with the word brain, because हमारा वो subject ही नहीं है. I stuck to the word manas and buddhi. Mind भी नहीं है, brain भी नहीं है. क्यों? क्योंकि हमारे पास मनस और बुद्धि दोनों एब्स्ट्रैक्ट हैं, दोनों सटल हैं, किसी का भी डायमेंशन पता नहीं है. They both can't be delimited into a perfect shape, size, structure or dimension. Here, mind in psychology, in the modern understandings, cannot be understood as a gross structure. They don't know what mind is in a gross form, but they understand what thought is, and with the relationship of thought, the concept of mind is explained. So, in modern understandings, thought play a kind of a support for the mind, for the existence of the mind. But here we do not have this kind of conflict, because we know that in the stage of thought itself, there is nothing but the Śiva Śakti Tattva, which are the phonemic energies, nothing else. So, at the same time, it makes the mind to forget its non-dual nature and engages in the world of duality. What happens, what is meant by this sentence, that once we start thinking, we forget who am I or who we are. We forget our own nature, we start thinking something else which is in duality, or which can be communicated to anyone else, or which can be communicated to ourselves also, like my thirst, my hunger. These are my own bhavas. I am not going to experience from outside. मुझे भूख लगी तो मुझे ही पता चलेगा. So this means there is a duality within us also. That means the Śiva Śakti tattvas are available within us also. So once we are in a stage of expression, even in the thoughts, then also we forget our non-dual nature. इसलिए कभी किसी को ये याद नहीं रहता, I am the conscious entity, I am the grand consciousness, aham brahmasmi or shivo aham. We never think about it, we never remember it, we are not focused about it, because we are engaged in duality. This language binds a pashu or liberates the pashu. That means, yesterday I told you there is no absolute liberation. Either we are going to be promoted or we are going to be demoted. So there is no absolute liberation. So even at this instance, when everything, even our thoughts are also the part of Śiva Śakti Tattva, then pashu and pashupati, these are very important terms. What is pashu? Pashu is a bound individual. Pash baddha jivaha. Pash means any kind of thing which can bind you. So pash baddha jiva is bound. Bound individual, we all are the bound individuals. Anything, this table is also a bound individual, bound identity, limited entity. किसी चीज़ से बांध दोगे तो बच्चा हिल नहीं पाएगा. That means you restricted that his functionality. So your powers are restricted or being delimited in nature. That is denoting the bound structure. So we all are pashu in that sense. अब समझ आ रहा है, पशु का मतलब ये नहीं होता animal. Animal is a very different thing. Pashu means pashbaddha jivaha. Any entity which has been delimited in the powers, that is pashu. So who is pashupati? Who is the master of all the pashu? That means जितने भी delimited entities है उनका master कौन है? That is Shiva. So we have a synonym for Shiva as Pashupati. Pashbaddha jiva naam eva patihi. Pashupati riti uchyate. जो समस्त पाशबद्ध जीवों का पति है वो है पशुपति, that is Shiva. So here what why this is mentioned here, because Śiva Śakti tattvas are available everywhere, starting from the manifestation itself. So when you speak a language or when you use the bhasha, then bhasha is in turn providing you the state of pashu also, and bhasha when becomes at the stage of varna, that is para stage, you become pashupati. So pashu bhi ban sakte ho aur pashupati bhi ban sakte ho. Depends on which kind of bhasha you are focused. If you are outwardly directed, you are focused in the gross vakri bhasha, you are pashu, we are communicating, we all are pashus. But if you are contemplating, that means you are involuting yourself from the stage of pad to the mantra. Then after contemplation to the stage of varna, you are reaching to the state of para. That means you are becoming Pashupati. So through the bhasha itself, we can be a bound individual and we can be an unbound cosmic reality. Unbound cosmic reality. So this is what meant in the last sentence. Here the first sound akar represents anuttar, I explained it. Then akar represents anand, again a desire arises in the Shiva Tattva to experience Anand in duality. For that, Shiva has to create the duality. As to begin with, there is nothing except Shiva Tattva. The desire is represented by next two sounds, that is Ikara and Ikara. The first one represents Ichha, second represents Ishan. As soon as the desire arises, the knowledge of duality too arises instantly in the heart of Shiva Tattva, or this is for explanation. They are represented by the next two vowels Ukara and Ukara, and they are known as Unmesh and Unata or Urmi. Here Urmi and Unata both are signifying. Unata means hras, lesser, something getting lesser, kuch kam ho raha hai. That is representing Urmi also. So Unata and Urmi both are representing that after creating these 6 vowels, now you are little bit tired. होता है ना, बना लिया उपमा, थक तो गए ना, थकान तो हो गई ना थोड़ी, तो ऊनता आती है. That is, ऊनता means becoming less. Even you are happy, very much happy, feeling very much happiness, it's still you are feeling little bit tired because you created something very creative, you done creative task you have completed. After that, at this point when Urmi or Unata happens, an apprehension arises in the Shiva Tattva that what if Shiva Tattva forgets his own real nature? कुछ भूल तो नहीं गए हैं. That means what if Shiva Tattva forgets its own real nature once he manifests duality, that means the non-dual aspect. So there is a negative setback, कहीं अपना non-dual state भूल तो नहीं जाऊंगा. So for a few moments, fearing that it might forget the real nature, absolute freedom is the real nature, luminosity, intelligence, that is the unbound state. So Shiva Tattva rests back in his own nature and that becomes Akara or Akara. That is first sound, Anuttar and Anand. Retracting from the knowledge to the first stage gives rise to the next 4 vowels, that is void, Shunya. They are void, Rikara and Rikara, long and short, Hrsv and Dirgha. After retracting to the initial stage, it strikes Shiva that it cannot forget his real nature. कुछ भी हो जाए, मेरा नॉन डुअल स्टेट कभी कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं हो सकता. वॉट एवर आई क्रिएट डजेंट मैटर, बट आई वॉन्ट वैनिश. यू टेक एन एग्जाम्पल, अमीबा. In the cell division or division of amoeba, when amoeba starts dividing, or in any of the lower organism, right? So you suppose like there is some flagellation. At first instance, small flagellation, then it grows, like, and at the peak point, what happens when immediately just before that moment when the cell is going to divide, there is a negative setback. What if I would vanish for the parent cell? What if I would vanish? अगर आपके अंदर, or you consider your parents, before giving birth to you, if your mother feels like what if I would die, this negative setback, और मेरा existence खत्म हो जाएगा, the first, this kind of setback, a negative setback. So after getting over the fear of one's own annihilation, that I cannot forget my non-dual state, even if I produce a dual reality or dual perception or dual creation. Again, the Shiva Tattva comes out from the apprehension and carries forward from where that Tattva stopped. So again, Akara and Akara mixes with the Ichha and thus giving rise to the next 2 vowels Ekara, Aikara. And then Akara and Akara mixes with the U and U. They give rise to the next 2 vowels Okara and Okara. These 4 vowels represent 4 stages of Kriya or action of the Shiva Tattva, which represent least vivid, somewhat vivid, then vivid, and then the most vivid actions of the Shiva. That means Shiva Tattva ने अपना काम पूरा कर दिया है. Now the Shiva Tattva has given the kind of appearance to the swaras. Swar appear हो चुके हैं. after that what happens, the next vowel is also anuswar, and that is also a swar, represents that though desire, knowledge and means of knowledge has arisen in the consciousness of Shiva, yet it is still at the level of non-duality, because Shakti abhi swar se vyanjan nahi bane hain. So, there the process has begun, but the duality has not yet come on the canvas. Next vowel is represented by two dots, visarga, anuswar and visarga. The upper dot represents Shiva and the lower dot represents Shakti. In fact, it also signifies that at this level Shiva becomes the Shakti. So, in Tantra Shastra, in Agam Shastra, we create this trick. This is first one, first dot, Shiva Tattva, anuswar. Two dots, visarga, that is Shakti Tattva. Join all the three, it will be a triangle. So, triangle is a symbolic representation in the Tantra Shastra representing Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is Bindu and Shakti is Visarga. This is how triangle gets created. When reality starts or manifestation begins from a Bindu, Visarga dominates. So, the 3 points are joined together to represent a triangle, that is Trik. That is why we have another name for Kashmir Śaivism as a Trik Shastra. Okay? After this, when till Visarga, Shakti dominates. So, from that Visarga, now this point onwards, everything becomes a Shakti. So, Shakti has come on the foreground. For your understanding, for the simplicity, you consider like right side of our existence is Shiva Tattva, left side is Shakti Tattva. That means Shiva is in the background and Shakti has come on the foreground. Now the manifestation is progressing ahead. So, in the foreground, Shakti has come on the foreground. So, it is just like a Bindu, Shakti is representing two dots, and you can create a triangle in a 3-dimensional structure, 3D structure. So, it has been termed that the projection of Shiva on Shakti happens inversely. Now, the transposition is going to happen because Shakti has come on the canvas. So, transposition will occur. That is, first element appears as the last one, and the last tattva will, which is Prithvi, appears first. So, when manifested entity come, at first instance we perceive Prithvi tattva. So, हमारे नॉलेज में सबसे पहले हर वो चीज़ आती है जो ग्रॉस है. हम कभी भी सटल के बारे में पहले से सोचना नहीं शुरू करते हैं. Anyone who is available in this class as a realized person who is thinking about the subtlest possible reality? No one. किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ता कौन है सटल. कोई तब तक ईश्वर को याद नहीं करता जब तक कष्ट ना होए. क्यों? क्योंकि किसी को क्या फर्क है. हम कहाँ engaged हैं. We are engaged in the gross elements, gross structure, gross creation. So, because after once Shakti comes on the foreground and the manifestation begins, transposition occurs. So, the grossest element Prithvi comes in at the first instance. So, for our understanding, we get entangled into whatever is available in the gross form. This is how we perceive. And what we have to do when we start the journey towards ourself, involution, अंतर्मुखी होने की क्षमता, introversion, और we start the process of sadhana, तो हम ध्यान लगाकर अंदर जाते हैं, अपने अंदर जाने की प्रक्रिया. उसमें क्या करेंगे? We have to correct this inversion. We have to correct this inversion. That means we have to understand that we are in an inverted reality. And for that purpose, मुझे याद आ गया, Inception movie बहुत सारे लोगों ने देखी, Matrix, Inception, देखा है ना? Inversion. You need to have an understanding that we are living in an inverse reality. A reality which has already been got inverted. We are, because of transposition, we are dominated by Prithvi Tattva, though that is not the real element, that is not the real potency. We need to have this understanding, then we need to correct this inversion in order to involute ourselves in the process of sadhana. So, we have to understand that Shakti, though Shakti is on the foreground to create everything, still the original form is Shiva, the background. Background के बारे में सोचना ज़रूरी है. And for understanding the structure of Shiva stage, we need to correct the inverted reality first. So here it is mentioned, it has been termed as that the projection of Shiva on Shakti happens inversely, that is the first element appears as the last and the last tattva which is Prithvi appears first. In other words, it implies that the subtler elements appear last and grossest appear first. Thus, the projection appears first as Panch Mahabhutas, 5 gross tattvas, Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi, Panch Mahabhut. They represent Ka Varga, then Panch Tanmatras represented by Cha Varga, Panch Karmendri represented by Ta Varga, Panch Jnanendri by Ta Varga, Antahkaran 5 internal organs by Pa Varga, then Panch Kanchukas along with the Maya by Ya, Ra, La, Va and 5 Shuddha Tattvas Sha, 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 Ha. So, reversal has happened. The first vowel which is or first swara which is Shiva is A and last Vyanjan is Hakara is Shakti. When they combine with each other putting up Anuswar as the notion of Jeev, they become Aham. So, in Sanskrit this word is very important, Aham. Aham means I and A is Shiv, Anuttar, Ha is Shakti and Makara is Jeev. This is a triangle, A, Ha and Ma, Aham. So, this is how, this is the metaphysics. अहम के रूप तो बहुत याद करते हैं हम संस्कृत में, वो भाषा का वो पक्ष है जिसको हम फिजिकल एस्पेक्ट कह सकते हैं. बट व्हाट अहम इज, दैट इज द आई, the word which is representing aham, the first existence, मैं हूँ, that is Shiva, Shakti and Jeev. And I have explained that we have the 3 words Adu, Nar and Jeev. So Adu क्या है? Once the potencies are limited, getting limited, Adu, atomicity. Once it becomes a consciously limited identity, it is Jeev. And once it is intelligible, it is Nar. So here the triangle, the sound Makar is representing Jeev. Whenever we say anything that has I, or whenever we refer to the first person, that is Aham, it is Shiva and Shakti both. So if I am addressing myself, Aham Asmi Surabhi Varma, so Aham means Shiva and Shakti together. ऐसा नहीं है कि सुरभि वर्मा का मतलब हो गया कि एक मैस्कुलिन एक फेमिनिन अलग अलग होगा, नहीं. Ardhanarishwara together, that means both the tattvas together. To whom we are referring, Shiva is always the first person, and thus we all are Shiva. In that sense, we all are the combination of Shiva and Shakti, Ardhanarishwara. Thus, Aham is also a mantra. So, the first mantra, first possible mantra, कोई मंत्र किसी को ना आता हो तो भी Aham का जाप कर सकते हैं. The first possible mantra of existence is Aham. And it is meant for the contemplation of the sadhaka in Kashmir Śaivism, as this mantra does not only conceive 36 tattvas, but also its metaphysics. It conceives its metaphysics also. The first and the first possible mantra is Aham, because I am, I exist, that is the greatest possible notion of existence, which is expressed all the time. So, in that sense, you can see how sounds are having its basic metaphysical structure in Kashmir Śaivism. अभी तक हम भाषा के उस बात पर आए नहीं जहाँ हमें मनन करना है. For the contemplation also we can use this word like aham. Continuously you can use aham, because all the time you say, I did this, I want to do that, I want to leave the class should be over because I have to leave. I is always dominating. You are continuously using that particular word aham all the time. So, you are in a state of recitation of aham all the time, automatically, spontaneously, involuntary, without knowing that you are in a state of recitation. Okay. So, for this lecture this is sufficient. In the next class I will explain little bit further about the mantras also, and then japa, even our breath is also in a state of continuous vibration, and that is also reciting some kind of mantra. For this lecture this is sufficient. Thank you.